Okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hey everybody, welcome back again to Well That's Creepy. We have a little bit of a different thing today. It's kind of like an interview, I guess. I don't know, we're doing the witch thing, and my wife knows a lot about witchcraft. She's been doing it for a while, and she studies like crazy on everything she's into. But anyways, I guess it'd be like an interview thing.
I guess kind of. I mean, so I'm really excited about this episode, and mostly because a lot of people have the wrong idea about what modern day witchcraft is. So I think it's kind of exciting to get some of those misconceptions out and talk about what actual modern witchcraft is today. So
Yeah.
it's not what people think. It's not flying. We're not, turning people into different things, and
I don't know a lot about it at all.
Well, you know some. I mean, you.
Yeah, I know. I picked up on a few
but
things that you talked about and said and everything. So.
I mean, but so to start off, just because this is like my one very big important thing to always say is there's no wrong way to be a witch, and I think that
You stress that a lot.
that is my big thing. And mostly because people think like it's this set of rules that you have to follow, and so witchcraft is, in a sense, like a religion in a way, depending upon which path you follow with it all. But it can be considered like a religion. But unlike traditional religions, there's no specific Bible per se that tells you the rules that you have to do. There are no rules. There's no way to be a witch unless you're Wiccan. Then Wiccan does have some specific rules, but that's we'll get more into that here in a moment.
You should have wore your witch hat for this.
You want me to put my witch hat on for this show?
That'd been cool.
I don't think so.
All right.
No.
But anyways,
I'll wear it later for you guys. We'll post a picture on Instagram.
We'll dig into some questions in case anybody here is wondering how to become a witch.
But it's really exciting.
Got my iced coffee.
Bam.
Yeah. We're ready today.
So disgusting.
All right. So a lot of people think witchcraft's evil.
Right, and it's definitely not. I mean, 99.9% of witches are not evil. You do have some that literally worship Satan, but that's a very, very, very minute amount because it's just not. I mean, so here's the thing with witchcraft. It is not what you guys see in TV and movies, okay? Like, that is definitely, which we'll get more into that here in a moment, but we're not evil, we're not satanic, we're not, trying out to hurt people. We are actually the complete opposite of that, unless, again, you follow Satan, and that's just your own thing. Not me, but no, we're definitely not evil. We are actually some of the kindest and sweetest people you'll meet. I mean,
You are a very kind person. You really are. You'll do anything for everyone. You're so thoughtful and caring.
well, I'm glad you think that. Some don't, but
Well, it's just because you're straightforward to the point, and they don't like that
but
sometimes.
it is. It's very frustrating, though, that when someone finds out you're a witch, and they instantly think that you worship the devil and you are just an evil being, and it's not okay,
crazy. Yeah. Now, Wicca and witchcraft, is that like kind of the...
Okay, so it's
Same
kind of
thing,
like
or-
if you looked at witchcraft as if it were like a religion, then Wicca would be like Christianity, and then you have Catholic, and like you have all these different things, but Wiccan is a totally different aspect of it. I mean, with Wicca, you worship a god and a goddess, which is the sun and the moon, and which they also represent the old man and the mother, maiden and crone. But it's not all the same. Like, all Wiccans are witches, but not all witches are Wiccan. Does that make sense? I hope.
It makes sense.
It's just, it is a different path, and there are many paths. I myself am eclectic. An eclectic witch is basically one who takes from many different paths to make her own path. You have sea witches and green witches, hedge witches. I mean, just the list is endless. There's so many different types. Kitchen witches, green witch. I mean, literally anything you can think of, there is a form of witchcraft to go with it.
A lot of people out there getting into witchcraft would probably want to know if you have to be in a coven or anything.
So no, covens are completely optional, and some witches are solitary witches, which means they completely do everything by themselves. They may interact with other witches, but they don't, have meetings with others or do anything like that. They go solely on their own. But it is not 1692 anymore. We're not in Salem, so we do have the option to have covens online. And I actually have an online coven. It's still in the beta version, but it's thebasicwitchcoven.com. And it's basically, we will do like coven meetings, but they're not going to be like anything like, it's not going to be a big, traditional rituals with all the, bells and whistles, and everybody has to dress all and special things, but it's more like a Zoom meeting for other witches to interact with each other online. And
that'd be cool.
We're working on that.
Yeah.
The group's really grown. I've got some great council members helping me.
And like we've said before, her podcast, The Basic Witch, which is actually doing very well. It's really awesome. Really excited for you for that. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, we're actually getting ready to hit 3,000 listens, so
yeah,
I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, and you haven't been out that long, really.
Just a few months.
Yeah,
but it kind of took off fast.
Some people might think that you have to have a witch in the family to be a witch.
So that is a big misconception that really irritates me. You'll have people, if you ever decide to get into witchcraft, and it's a calling. I mean, you feel it. It's just something you feel, and some people just decide that it's something interesting to look into and then decide that it's for them. So it really is for anyone, and you don't have to have witches in your bloodline, because here's the thing. There's no gatekeeper, and you'll find a lot if you go on like the Facebook groups.
What's a gatekeeper?
Someone who tries to say, you can be a part of us, you can't be a part of us, you have to do this, you have to do that. And there are a lot of witches in these groups who try to be gatekeepers, but when you get down to it, it doesn't go back through your bloodline. I mean, you may very well have.
So you're saying like there's some groups where you go to, they want you to follow what they think it should be.
Right. I mean,
and everyone in there should
some
follow
are
the
a
same
few
thing.
like individual people who feel like they are the gatekeeper of things, and it's real frustrating because, I mean, there really is, like I've always said, there's no wrong way to be a witch, but you're going to have people tell you who can and can't. But you could have like your aunt, grandma, and mom, and 8 grandmas back, great grandmas back that were all witches, and then not call to you. I mean, it's just, it's not a matter of being in your blood.
It's weird because you mentioned the Salem witch trials earlier. It's just so crazy how way back in the day, every woman that did something just odd or bizarre, they just thought she was a witch and burned her.
Right, and
That's
well,
just
actually,
insane.
This right here, I was going to wait to get to the books later, but this book right here is called Witches, Midwives, and Nurses, The History of Women Healers. And we'll put these pictures of these books in the Instagram page, but way back, this is before the Salem and everything started, women who, traditionally men were doctors, and women who used any kind of herbal treatment or did anything about anybody being sick besides saying, you have a broken arm, you should do cocaine about it. I mean, that was pretty much how doctors dealt with things back then. But
cocaine about it.
Well, they did. They prescribed like cocaine for everything. I'm sure some people like that still to be around today. Unfortunately, it's not. But no, anyone who did any type of treatment with like herbal remedies or anything, they accused of being a witch.
Yeah.
Well, most of these women ended up going into the medical field because witches are traditionally healers, in a sense, and not necessarily all witches are nurses or anything like that, but witches are really good moms because they have that natural healing ability in them. And
not saying there's not good moms out there
no,
because they're witches, but yeah.
I mean, a lot of
they have that natural,
right? They have a lot of that natural healing ability, and also a lot of witches are empaths too, which is kind of fun because we're more sensitive to things, and so it's really cool. But a lot of people do believe that any woman who did something back then. But to be honest, with the Salem thing, those women who died were not witches. I mean, the real witches hauled balls and they went to New Orleans and got out of there. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 out of all those women were actual witches.
Now, whenever people think witch, like some people might think, well, witches sacrifice animals and everything else. What's the scoop with that?
Okay, well, you know me very well.
Yeah.
We're not even allowed to tell them about the bumblebees the other day.
Yeah. Well, the other day, we were at her mom's house. We were in the driveway talking, and this bee kept flying around. And you always get mad at me every time I swat at a bee because I'm not supposed to hurt the bee.
You're not supposed to hurt
Well,
the
I got
bee.
stung in the ankle, which sucked because it was like one of those yellow jacket, big fat bumblebee looking things.
He was a big guy.
Yeah, that sucked. And again, I wasn't supposed to swat at it.
No.
Then we come home, I don't remember what the hell I was doing. Oh, I felt something on my neck and reached back and got stung by a wasp. That blowed. So I'm brushed off my neck and laying on the ground. Again, I'm not supposed to hurt it or swat at it. Just take the pain. No. But that blowed. Yeah, that blowed.
But we don't. We don't sacrifice animals. We don't even swat at bees. That's just not our thing. If anything, we are very healing and try to help the animals and try to, you know, some women witches, you know, try to communicate with the animals, and men witches too, which is another topic.
You are pro-living organisms.
Yeah, we don't kill anything. Spiders, just take them outside. We're not killing anything.
Now, some people might be wondering if it's all female witches.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because no, it is definitely not.
In fact, one of your moderators are.
Yes, one of my mods in the group is a male witch, and one of my council members for the coven is also male witch. Two totally different people, but there are a lot of men, and they're not called warlocks, which a lot of people think. They're just simply witches as well. And I did hear on another podcast, and it kind of did anger me. I just, because I like to check out other witchy podcasts too, and just kind of give them a play. But on one of the other ones, they were talking about how LGBT people weren't really welcome in the witchcraft community in certain ones, and that really bothered me. Everyone is welcome to be part of our community, and so if anyone tells you that you can't be because you are a man or you're LGBT or anything like that, they're totally wrong, because you're absolutely welcome. So
now this is kind of a two-parter question. Witchcraft isn't the same as you would see on TVs and movies and everything else. So
no, it's not. I mean, it's way different. Some parts are. I mean, obviously, like some of the carrying and, you know, the way they carry themselves and everything, but
doing spells,
right? But again, we do spells, so you have to look at it like.
But they're not shooting like lightning out of their fingers.
Absolutely
and
not.
Yeah,
But we do manifest things, not in the sense of I sit here and I'm going to will that ice cream cone pop up and one pop up. That's just not how life works. That's the part of the movies and TV that is absolutely not real. But when we say manifest, it's like when religious people pray to God and they, you know, they say the prayers and they're basically willing something to happen. That's what we do when we do spells and things like that. We're asking the universe for things, but we're also, it's something that's within ourselves too. So it's, I mean, it's kind of like hand in hand with religion in a way, but completely not like movie stuff. So
you'd kind of like be explaining it like it would be like a religion.
Right. I mean, that's the easiest way to put it for people to understand.
Okay. So the second part of that question, not the same as on movies or TVs, what would be your favorite witch movie?
Oh.
Or show, whatever.
Definitely the favorite movie is Impractical Magic mixed with The Craft, and then Witches of Eastwick, obviously. Cause I mean, honestly, Witches of Eastwick, when I was little, that's what made me realize that I wanted to be a witch, or that I had that calling or that felt, because I could relate to Cher in that movie, and I could relate to the witches, and I was like 5,
always have
you know?
the passion for
I
witchcraft,
mean, since I was little, and, you know, I was like 5, and I couldn't really say, hey, Mom, you know, that's really cool, I think I'm a witch at 5, you know, but as far as TV shows go, Sabrina's probably one of my favorite, and everybody thinks it's corny, but it's so cute. I love it. I really do love it.
And we have yet to watch Harry Potter.
Yeah,
we haven't
I know.
watched it yet.
Oh my God, people freak out on me all the time. Like, how can you be a watching witch and not watch Harry Potter? I just haven't, but we're going to. So
we're going to check that out.
Yeah, because it looks like it's really good.
Now, I've heard you use the word divination before.
Divination is like when I do the tarot readings or oracle cards.
Okay, all right.
But there's different forms of penetration. Oh my God.
There's all types of forms of penetration.
There are.
Yeah.
I mean, vaginal, anal, all of that. So,
beak, right in the beak.
Right in the beak. But no. Divination is like tarot cards and oracle. We're talking about sex and witchcraft. So but they also go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand.
There's sex magic. So.
Yeah.
But no, like tarot cards and oracle cards, crystal balls, scrying is like look into a crystal ball, but some people do it with like a black mirror or fire or a bowl of water.
And you got a really cool black mirror.
I do. I made that myself.
It's awesome.
And pendulum work is another thing. I have a spirit board, which is very similar to a Ouija board. We'll have to put a picture on the Instagram page. But
you have a very cool witch area.
It's really awesome.
It's awesome.
And I use my pendulum. I don't use a planchette that comes with it. I use a pendulum. So, and this is my black obsidian, which I absolutely love. You guys can see it. It's like my favorite one. It's my
You
go-to
have
every
several,
time.
yeah.
You have a lot
Very
of
cool.
them, but that's my go-to.
Now, I've heard you talk about this before, and it doesn't anger you, but some people use the term baby witch.
So baby witch is it's a big conflict in the witch community, and I feel bad because the newer witches don't really know that baby witch is bothersome to some witches. I'm not a fan of that word, of that term. I don't put anyone down who uses it.
Yeah,
I
you even
think
said
if
before you didn't, but doesn't bother you.
if you feel
really.
comfortable with it, or if it's how you like to express it, do it.
No, so
I've
that's
never
like a
called
beginner
myself
witch, right?
Right, it's like a
Okay.
beginner witch. But the only thing I would have to say about that is you're not giving yourself enough credit, because witchcraft is forever. You're a forever student. You're never going to completely master everything because you're always learning. And I've been doing this for a while, and there are things that I have learned from new witches. I mean, as I'm going along, there are things I literally have learned from new witches because, like I said, there's so many different paths to witchcraft. There's so many different things, and if we all work together as one, we can learn a lot more than if we work against each other. So, but yeah,
Exactly.
baby witch is a very controversial topic in the witchcraft community.
Now, we were talking about your little area and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about how your love for animals and living organisms and everything. You have a very cool outdoor area too.
Yeah, so I have a little fairy garden area. And when I say fairy, I don't mean like Tinkerbell fairy, but I do mean Tinkerbell fairy. And I know you're probably thinking, what the fuck is she talking about? So let me explain. So, fairies, or the fae, if you may have heard it called, are spirits or energies, things like that. And they're basically, that is where Tinkerbell, the idea and concept for Tinkerbell came from. Because if you don't believe in her, she dies. Same with the fae. Like, if you don't believe in it, it's not real. So, I mean, same concept. But now, Travis can literally attest to this. For years, we have had belladonna lilies growing on the side of the house
This
in
is
the
weird,
exact
yeah.
same spot.
It's very weird.
Always. And this year, I have my little fairy garden in back now. Travis made me a wonderful area. He put
It's
a
really
little
cool.
keyhole outline around the tree back there.
We
and
outlined it
filled
with
it in.
landscaping brick, and then put white gravel in it. Did a round tree, did a big keyhole shape, put rugs down, and you got a bunch like this.
It's beautiful. Solar lights
What's
a
it,
ball,
glowing?
like a globe.
Yeah,
and
like a light up globe. It's really cool
it
area.
is.
Like
We'll
a
post
mobile
some
up there
pictures
with-
and stuff. Yeah, I've got
It's
beautiful
really cool.
mobile, but Travis got the area ready for me, and then all of a sudden, my belladonna lilies didn't pop up where they always do. They popped up back there in that area.
So weird.
So, like, my first thought was the fae moved them. I
Yeah.
mean, because that's the only.
Well,
I mean,
the mushrooms too. We have never had mushrooms in
right.
this yard ever.
So, if you ever go into a yard or an area and you see like a circle kind of cut out, or sometimes it won't even be cut out, just be like the grass is a little deader in a
now
circle
this is
shape,
for if you're
or
a witch, right?
what?
Like if you're a witch.
Well, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
but
yeah.
some people may not believe that and still have it in their
Oh,
yard.
that's
I mean,
true. Yeah, you never know.
or you just see some faint circle area in your yard, or mushroom stools. You'll see some mushroom stools pop up. Those are a sign that the fae have been there.
It's crazy because we've never had mushrooms grow in the yard, and those are actually like really big.
Yeah, they just popped up overnight.
Along with your, what are they, belladonnas?
belladonna lilies.
Yeah.
But they all popped up overnight right by the fairy garden. So it's kind of weird that,
It was
a
really
little ironic.
cool. Now I've heard people use the phrase broom closet, in the broom closet.
Okay, so think of LGBT being in the closet
Yeah.
and not being in the closet. So the broom closet is the witch's version of not being out.
Okay.
So a lot of times people don't know.
Kind of thought that's what it was.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, for like ever, I felt it inside and I did stuff in my head, but I never really came out and told you because I just didn't really, I wasn't 100% sure yet. So technically I was in the broom closet then, and for years only you knew. And then, so technically I was still in the broom closet then, and then now the whole world knows because my podcast and everything else, so I don't really care anymore. But there are a lot of witches who still live in the broom closet because today's society is kind of damning to them. So, I mean, it's just kind of not fair, but we do get a bad rap.
A lot of people have asked if it's expensive to start.
So, It can be. I have opted the route of expensiveness sometimes, but to be honest, no, because again, there are no rules. There's no wrong way to be a witch. So spell candles can be expensive. If you can buy like a 16 pack for $40 on Amazon or the metaphysical stores, but that's expensive. You can also go down to Dollar Store, Dollar General, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, whatever,
Some cheap store, yeah.
and buy a 24 pack of birthday candles for $1.
Like
And-
multicolored birthday
yeah,
candles.
and
They
you
got the
can
little
use
packs.
those. I mean, you can do everything on your own on a budget. Like the scrying mirrors, you can get them on Etsy or wherever, or a Black Mirror, and you're going to spend $30 to $50 if you order one online. I made ours for $4. I literally bought a $3 picture frame
and it's awesome.
from
It
Dollar
looks really
General
cool.
and a can of black spray paint. I
Yeah.
mean, and I
It
made my
really
own
looks
rooms.
cool how you did it.
It's just you can do it yourself and make it way cheaper.
Now, this kind of goes with being like you can go the cheaper route, altars, like big altars, small altars, baby altars.
Right. So you can do whatever feels comfortable to you. Because
Maybe they don't know what an altar is.
So your altar is like your personal area. We'll post pictures on the Instagram of it, but it's basically your personal area where you do your work at. And I am very fortunate enough to have a giant corner, and Travis made some amazing stuff over there for me.
Looks pretty cool.
I mean, he literally built me the actual altar itself, a podium for my Book of Shadows,
That's a cool book. by the
all
way.
kinds of stuff he's made for me over there. But your altar doesn't have to be a huge production. It can literally be a side table with a candle on it. I mean, whatever represents something sacred to you.
Now, if anybody's
Like-
interested or is a witch or beginning to be a witch, whatever, I've seen these things on Google Images. You can actually go to Google Images and look up mini baby altars, like DIY altars, and they're little Altoids cans.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
Yeah, so I talked about that on one episode of my podcast for witches who are still in the broom closet. That's an excellent way to have your altar and make it portable, because you can literally take a shoebox or, like he said, Altoids can. Just take a small, cut a birthday candle down, whatever you need to do, and you have a little traveling altar. I mean, I've even seen it done in a sunglass case before, like a glasses case.
Yeah,
so
they make some cool little ones. It's really neat.
I mean,
Decorate them
there's-
up and everything.
There's definitely some options out there for everyone.
Now, your Book of Shadows is actually pretty cool looking.
Yes. So a book.
Check out the front of this real quick. Doesn't it look cool?
It's got the fancy locks, and
It really looks neat.
so.
Oh, you don't have to open it.
I got
don't
stuck, but no, Travis did some little artwork in here. He's
Yeah, a
not
little
done.
bit.
He's going to keep doing
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
but a Book of Shadows is basically your journal slash everything, your notebook, because not only do you write
Spells,
down like
everything.
spells, but you write down like how you're feeling about things or how things work out. You write down like things you want to remember, like spell colors that coordinate to different feelings or things, or like aura colors, or like mine has tarot notes and oracle notes and all kinds of different things. Like for my palm reading and stuff, there's notes in there. So I mean, your Book of Shadows is basically a sacred book for yourself, a journal filled with your witchy journey stuff.
Now, so if there's anyone interested on becoming a witch or learning more about witchcraft, first off, her podcast explains everything. She's very detailed with a lot of stuff, and it's awesome. A lot of people like it. But there's
Thank
also totally. There's also books, right? On
Yes.
how to
So some of the books that I always
Go
recommend
about
people
it.
start off with, because I'm literally dropping all of this here. There's a lot here, so
Grab some.
I'm just going to show you some of the best ones here. I'm not saying you have to rush out and buy every single book, but these are really some good ones to start off with. Like I said, that one. If you're interested in palm reading, this is a really good one. I got it from Amazon. It's really cheap. It was under $7. It is really good to, if you have never done palm reading, or if you just want to brush up, it's excellent book to get going. The same with runes. If that's something you're into, that's an
I'll hold it
excellent
close
book
to the
for
camera. I don't know
runes.
if it helps or not with the glare, but what is this one?
That's about runes.
Runes.
Yeah. So not all these are going to be. Okay, so this is another one that's really good for new witches. It's called the Spell Book. And this one was $6 on Amazon, I think, or maybe $5. It was super cheap, but it's full of great spells for beginners. So it's something really cool. Now, if we have any other atheists that are out there that are interested in witchcraft, this is a great book. It's the Atheist Witch's Guide to Energy. And it's really short, though. It's like 35 pages. It is like really large print, but
it's right down to the nitty gritty, huh?
It's some really good information in here. So it's
Where'd you get
definitely
that
one.
at?
This came from Amazon also.
Oh, okay.
All these books were super cheap, except for like 2 of them, and I'll tell you which ones those were.
That's a cool looking book.
Excuse me. The occult book. This is literally the history, starting from the beginning of like recorded time of occult stuff.
Now, she
literally
has told
anything.
me so much stuff about the early years of witchcraft, and it's actually very fascinating. It really
this
is.
literally starts in like the 5th century BCE. I mean, however you
Here, I'll
decide
hold that
to
book
do
up
it,
to
but
him.
the occult book is really interesting, guys.
Really cool looking. I always like the covers of these cool books. There you go.
Now this one I really like. It's the Black Arts. I haven't finished all of this book. I really need to finish reading it, but it really kind of digs into everything, and it's called the Black Arts because people think that we're bad people when we're really not. But it kind of goes into everything as far as like astrology and demonology and
Here, I'll sit
all
over
of
here for
that
you.
stuff. And that's another thing I want to bring up real quick while we're talking about that book.
Do you need it again?
No.
Oh.
A lot of people think that because you're an atheist that you worship the devil. That is absolutely not true, because if you don't believe in God, how do you believe in the devil? I mean, so that's and you and I have had that conversation many times. But go for it.
I don't know if anybody will. I mean, people shouldn't have to really agree on what other people's beliefs are. You know, everybody should get along, but it really shouldn't matter what other people believe, because most of the times people usually keep everything amongst themselves, you know, or at least they should. I mean, why bring all that up? It's just going to create drama.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, you're an atheist. I'm an atheist. I believe way too much into science. I study so much about space and universe. It gets ridiculous. But yeah, I just have a hard time believing that.
But it
It would
doesn't
have
mean
to be proven.
right, and it doesn't mean that we don't get along with people who do believe either. Because
Yeah, your sisters.
well, yeah,
you
but
know?
my best friend. I mean, Travis is my best friend, but
Same here.
my best friend Melody, she's Christian, and we get along perfect, and
You
we
guys get
explain
along
our
great.
sides to each
Yeah.
other and talk
They
about how
actually
they're very
talk about it,
similar,
yeah.
you know.
Yep.
And several of the witches in my group are Christian,
Mm-hmm.
so it's another thing I want to mention too. You can be Christian and be a witch, because it's not about worshiping any specific god or
Mm-hmm.
deity. That's a choice that you make. If you choose to worship a deity, that's
Mm-hmm.
your choice. But we do absolutely 100% have Christian witches in the group, so it's not a conflict. But
If anyone out there is by chance an atheist, because there are a lot out there, you really need to watch the Atheist Experience with Matt Dillahunty. It's awesome. He is such a cool dude. But yeah, check that out.
yeah, it's kind of funny listening.
Yeah.
to
Or if any of
that.
you are skepticals, I mean, really, he puts it into, and that's the thing. He was like a what? He was like a rabbi or a
Right, he
preacher
was a
for
priest,
like
a
20
preacher,
some
yeah.
years, and then he turned in and converted, and he's an atheist.
I mean, I grew up going to church all the time, and I wasn't until about 6-7 years ago actually when I finally realized and decided that I'm an atheist. But
But I mean, either way, it's not bad. You know, it's not bad. Everyone should get along anyways.
right, and I mean, and that's proof that you can, because
You know,
my best friend is. But back to the point of that book, it talks about demonology. Now,
The
I
black
don't
arts.
believe in the devil because I don't believe in God, but I do believe in evil energies out there and evil spirits. Now, demonology to me is evil things, but it's not always just human entities that are
oh
evil
man,
either. So
I got to hit on something else.
Go for it.
I'm sorry. All right. People are probably wondering, well, they're not religious, but yet they believe in ghosts. All right, that's the thing. I don't even know where to start. Energy. Energy is very weird. If you study energy, you'll figure out how it works. Do some study on energy. But when energy leaves a human body, it's possible that energy could be transformed to anything, you know? It could create a spirit form. You never know. I mean, it could go into a whole other dimension. We have no idea what the hell happens after we're dead. You
Right.
know? Not saying there couldn't be a God out there. We could,
we could be completely wrong.
who
I mean,
the hell knows? But if you study about energy, and learn a little bit how it works, it makes you wonder what happens to our energy, the neurons, the electrons, the neurons firing in our human brain. What happens to all that?
Exactly.
It's got to go somewhere. It's got to be transferred to something. It's crazy.
And that's why this is a great book to look into if you are
Yeah.
atheist, because it explains about energy and everything. Actually, you need to read that book.
We're going to check it out.
But yeah, I mean, so when it comes to demons and stuff, I don't believe in the devil, but I do believe that there are evil energies and spirits out there. So
Energies
I mean,
everywhere.
that's something that needs to be said. As I said, I am eclectic. I'm not Wicca, but eclectic means that you take parts from every path. So I do have some Wiccan books, because I do take parts from them. I just don't. The only part I would say that I am different from Wiccan is the fact that I don't follow the concept of the god and the goddess, and that's just I adore the moon, and I believe the moon has some pull on my life, but I don't believe that is the god. So I mean, that's just me. Another book. This one is a little bit more. This is an amazing book for astrology. It's literally called The Only Book You'll Ever Need for Astrology. The only astrology book you'll ever need. It's not the only one you'll ever need, I will tell you that, but it is amazing. It's about 600 and some pages.
That's a lot of pages.
Yeah. It's a $20-some book, but it is so worth it because it literally, or it's over 700 pages, isn't it? I don't remember, but it's really good because it helps you do your birth chart. It helps you figure out all of that. So if you're even the slightest bit interested in astrology, go to Astro Cafe on, just go to Google and type in Astro Cafe. And it'll help bring up your birth chart, and that's a great place to start if you're even slightest bit interested in astrology at all, because it talks about and now I know how you feel about horoscopes and stuff like that, but I believe that the time of day that you're born, like the position that you are, and like the time of being born, how the sky was, and how everything was, and the planets and the whole universe aligned at this exact point in time when you were born, I think it has an effect on us, but
You never
again,
know.
that's
Maybe
me.
the gravitational pull slightly varied a little bit with planets with it. Who knew? I mean, who knows? You never know.
The final book that I want to talk about that's a bit salty. So I looked this up on Amazon. First, I want to say we got a hell of a deal on this book at Barnes & Noble. Last year, actually, last September. I think we only paid like $40 for it, if that. I looked up on Amazon. Did I ever tell you what it was worth on Amazon? $243.
Good Lord.
Yeah. It was for the hardback cover of it, but
$243?
yeah.
Wow.
I actually saved the screenshot of it because I was shocked.
Well,
but
$40 is a good deal we got for it. Today.
this book literally has every symbol in it, and not just witchcraft related. Literally every symbol
this is the
in
symbol
the world.
book, isn't
Yes,
it? Yeah, this is so cool to look at.
It is an extremely.
It is
helpful
very
book.
awesome to look at. Yeah, there's so many symbols in here. I'm doing it totally wrong, so you can't see it, but it's really cool.
It's got literally everything in there.
It does. It's so cool.
But it's really awesome.
I
because
love books of pictures.
I know you do. But like, see, have you ever had a dream and you wake up and you saw like a sign in your dream? You're like, what the fuck was that? I've never seen that in my life, and try to like figure out where it came from.
Yeah, I'm always trying to remember different things in my
Right.
dream.
So like with that book, I don't know how many times I've looked it up, or something, or like I'll have people message me and be like, Cassie, I had this dream last night, and when I woke up, like they drew the symbol or sigil that they found, and they're like, what does it mean? And I'm like, give me a minute, and I searched the book, and I'm like, oh, hey, there it is.
I
So,
think we've used this before on, we were looking up some symbol for Egypt type stuff or something, and it was in there. Yeah, that's
it's
really
really
cool. We were
great.
wondering what the hell that was,
Yep.
yeah.
And then the final thing that I want to bring up while we're on books, and this is the last part, and I'll let you get back to any more questions you have, but, so, if anyone is interested in getting into tarot, or even just slightly interested in tarot, there's a deck called The Wild Unknown, and Kim Kranz is the creator of it, but this book comes with that set. Most times when you buy a tarot deck, it comes with a tiny little pamphlet of a little white piece of paper and tells you what's what, but if anyone is interested in tarot, I highly recommend the deck, the Wild Unknown, because this one literally breaks down. It shows you the pictures of each card. Obviously, the book's not colorized, but it shows you the pictures of each card, and then full paragraphs of what the card means, instead of just like a one-word meaning. But it also shows you all kinds of other stuff inside. Like it explains the background of tarot and the background of the different suits and all of that. And it's just absolutely amazing. It's definitely a book I recommend always to anyone interested in its first
Speaking
deck.
of like beginners into
everywhere.
witchcraft, like on your show, you've done a giveaway before.
Oh, we had an amazing giveaway.
Yeah, it was amazing, yeah. But you did like tarot cards and everything, all types of stuff that you could actually use to become a beginner. But if you were thinking about being a witch, or you're just getting into being a witch, check out her thing, because she always does giveaways that it can help you out a lot by winning all this stuff.
Yeah, the last one we actually did, we had like a little treasure chest box, and it came with some candles, a tarot deck, a set of runes,
Sage.
incense, sage bundle, some brass keys, some essential oils, some...
I can't remember what was
Oh
on
my
it.
God,
There
there
was
was
a
some
lot of
herbs.
stuff.
There was literally
It was like $100 box of stuff,
if
because
not
we got
more.
the
Altar
box.
cloth, everything.
Yeah, we ordered the box on. Oh yeah, altar cloth. Yeah, that was really cool. And
It was huge, 2 foot by 2 foot
Yeah,
altar cloth
yeah.
too. I mean, it was great.
we ordered that wooden treasure chest on Amazon. That really looked cool.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
we had a lot of good
and,
stuff.
Yeah, you can like a beginner witch, if they could get on your thing, maybe win. They could really help them out. You know.
So my big thing with with my podcast, I know we brought it up before, but my podcast is called The Basic Witch, and it is more of a, it's not the rules or the guidelines. It's just kind of like helping you get started along your path of witchcraft. And then we have a group on Facebook, and then I have an Instagram page. But the Facebook group is kind of like a helping hand to each other. I have very strict rules as far as drama and any kind of conflicts and stuff. That stuff is not allowed whatsoever. No type of hatefulness at all. It's more of a very, very calming
and you guys have a
situation.
lot of fun with it.
We do.
You
We actually have a
yeah.
lot of fun. I do a lot of live video, or a lot of videos of unboxing. Mindful Souls is one of the absolute best witch subscription boxes
She's tried
ever.
different ones, and so far it's Mindful Souls, right?
It is amazing. I get, well, this came from Mindful Souls, my bracelet. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I get wonderful things. But I do a lot of unboxing videos, so you don't waste your money on something. You get to see it first. So
Now, what was the other one you were also?
Tamed Wild?
Tamed Wild.
The first box was okay.
You're a little iffy about that one.
Then I thought, well, I'll give it another try. And then the second box was just not,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't worth the money. And I forgot to cancel it, and they sent me a third box, and that was just, no, it was horrible. So I do take suggestions for what boxes to try, and the witches in the group tell me, and then I'll order it, and I'll do unboxing.
Subscription boxes are really cool.
They really are. We have a lot
thinking
of
about
fun
getting
with
one.
them. Yeah, we found a NASA one for him.
A space one, yeah.
Space box.
It'd be
So
cool.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
But
Well, I really don't have any more questions a whole lot, but what would you like to hit on as far as like
well,
so far, have you had any bad experiences being a witch?
no, actually,
Yeah.
I think things have been amazing. I mean, we've came into quite a bit of money since I've been a witch
Yeah,
because of money
you
spells.
have,
I mean,
yeah. You did a reading not too long ago.
I
for
did a
group.
tarot party for some friends.
I mean, you've
and-
done several before.
Yeah,
it's just
this
like
one
they
was,
actually really called you out for like their birthday.
Yeah, it
thing,
was like a
you know?
birthday
It was
party
really cool.
thing, and I did a party, like a group party with a bunch of them there, and
That was awesome.
it was really cool because as an empath, I feel like I'm like a sensitive in a way, and when I walked in, I could just feel it. I kept calling one of the girls that was there by the wrong name, but turns out it was the name I was calling her was the name of somebody who was supposed to be there, but didn't make it. So
Now, when you say empath, that is like
so an empath.
I can't explain it. I know what it is, but I can't really explain
Right,
it.
there's actually multiple different versions of empaths. I am more emotional, and I don't like that they call it psychic empath because I don't consider myself a psychic in any way, shape, or form, but I am more sensitive to things.
Like, you had a good example not too long ago with that one. Remember our neighbors, one of them broke
Yes.
up and the other one, you know.
And so the best way I can describe what it's like to be an emotional empath is you're sitting on the porch and someone walks by and they're crying, and you have no idea what's going on or what has happened, but you start to get sad too because they are sad, and
You
they
kind
can
of feel their sadness.
yeah, you really
know?
feel sad and you have no idea why. Like
You really
you
take
just
on their sadness. Yeah,
you
it's
take
weird.
on their pain, and
Yeah.
it could be physical pain, it could be emotional pain, it can literally be anything. Like
It's weird.
you know, Travis could break his arm, and then my arm is going to be sore in that
Oh
area.
my God, you and Melody have a lot of that.
My
That's
friend,
so weird.
yes, my friend.
We've talked
Melody,
about this before on here.
We have a lot of similarities like that. Like I feel her pain all the time, and she feels mine, and we are just have this connection. But But the emotional part of it, like, they can be gone. Like, the crying girl could be like long gone. It could be an hour later, and I'm still sad and have no idea why.
And
So
you really felt for that girl.
it's very hard to deal with.
If the camera's moving, it's obviously, you know who it is, the cat.
Yeah, she's cleaning herself underneath.
Ooh, that brings up another point. What
Familiars.
what do you feel on familiars?
So you're gonna have, which is
I'm sorry, let me interrupt you, but I call our cat Sky, I call her your familiar. I call her your familiar when she's bad.
Yeah, well, she's bad all the time. So
She is bad all the time.
generally, in what people call traditional witchcraft, when they start talking about, you know, when you have gatekeepers telling you how everything has to be and everything, they will say that a familiar, you don't choose your familiar, that is brought to you, and all this other things, that it cannot be your pet and everything else. Well, I disagree with that highly. Your familiar is whatever the fuck you want it to be honest. I know that's very blunt, and I just literally talked about this on my podcast, the exact same phrasing the
And
other
that
day.
cat loves you to death. She will not. I mean, she loves everyone in the house, but she really has to be with you. And tell them about the cat with the altar and everything.
But she does. She
It's
goes
crazy.
to the altar
It
and
is
will,
crazy,
like,
yeah.
she will literally go to the altar, and she has a stool there.
A little, orange stool.
And she will sit on it and meow until I go over there and we start doing something together. But
That's crazy.
anytime I'm over there, she has to run right over and sit there and pay attention to what I'm doing and be a part
She'll
of it.
sit there on that little. It's almost like a little altar stool
I mean,
itself.
it's like
that she sits there and watches.
they call it like an altar table, but this is a bigger version. But she's there 24/7 when I'm over. I mean,
Yeah, and sometimes if you're not there, like you said, she'll run over
Yeah.
and sit there and meow until you do
yeah,
something.
she'll freak out till I come over and we do some
It's pretty
stuff,
cool,
but
though.
especially if I ever,
What time
when I
we at?
cast a circle, it's, yeah, let me wrap
No.
up. But
Uh,
yeah, if I cast a circle, she's right there the whole time. So
she's cute.
But anything, any animal or pet or anything can be your familiar. It's whatever you're drawn to. So as we wrap this up, I just want to remind everybody there is no wrong way to be a witch. So please don't let anyone tell you that anything you're doing is wrong, because that's not. There's no rules that say you have to do
And
this.
if anyone's
this, and that,
interested,
so.
again, check out these books.
Yeah, and you can
And
always
check out her, The Basic Witch. It's really awesome. They have a lot of fun on there. It's
Thank
a good
you.
podcast. You do a great job,
And
baby.
if you guys have questions about it, hit us up in the comments or send an email. You can get us at wellthat'screepy@gmail.com or thebasicwitch2020@gmail.com if you're interested in that. Our Instagram is,
Well, that's creepy.
well, that's _creepy.
I think so.
Yeah. And
I
the
don't-
basic witch is at the _basic_witch_. And I sound like I'm
But-
rapping. Chicka chicka what?
What? Yeah, check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe. That'd be cool. I think that's all we got. Until next week.
Yeah, I was really excited. We didn't mean to go like on and on with this
Yeah,
episode and be
it
super long. I
happens.
just got really
It
excited.
happens.
So, but yeah.
You guys have a good Sunday or Monday or whenever you watch this.
So, yeah.